And, after taking a look at a lot of this propaganda, we realized that Osama bin Laden had sort of been the first generation of using first pre-internet media with sort of smuggled videotapes to Al Jazeera, and people can picture him sort of standing in front of a video camera reading something. The second generation might be Anwar al-Awlaki, the American-born Yemeni cleric who spoke in a much more understandable, approachable style in colloquial English. He had a blog, he had a Facebook page. They were both killed, bin Laden and al-Awlaki, by the Americans. And now there's this sort of third generation, which is very sophisticated in its video production, in its use of Twitter and other social media to get this message out around the world.
All they have to do is video it, and out it goes. You described them using Instagram and SoundCloud and WhatsApp and, of course, Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. Last time after the killing of James Foley, there were some attempts to shut this down on Twitter and beyond. Accounts closed. At a certain point, that becomes difficult to do. Is there such an attempt underway again with the killing of Stephen Sullivan, trying to shut off the tap of social media?
I think the British have talked about taking down some inflammatory material, and there has been a bit of a movement out there to do what people call a media blackout of ISIS. But I think it's probably fair to say these attempts will fail. An interesting precedent is Anwar al-Awlaki, who also had a bunch of audio and video recordings which are extremely influential. And at one point, before he was killed, there was a push in Congress, in the U.S. Congress, among other places, to lobby YouTube to take down his many videos on YouTube. And YouTube actually agreed to do that, started to do that. But the fact is that the way these things work, so many hours of video are posted by individuals to YouTube every minute that the company cannot actually screen it all. And if you look at YouTube today, there's lots and lots of al-Awlaki material. So it doesn't seem like you can really censor it in that sense. The alternate approach has been to try to and to push back against it using the same techniques.
Scott Shane, I appreciate your being with us today. You're beginning to break up on us, and I'm sorry for that, but we appreciate your reporting on this, and you're bringing us up to date on the latest use of social media, Jihad 3.0, you've called it, along with Ben Hubbard in the pages of the New York Times. Scott Shane, thanks for joining us there from Baltimore. We'll have a better line next time. With us right now from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, is Zeynep Tufekci. She is professor at the School of Information and Library Science at the University of North Carolina, Turkish-American, faculty associate at Harvard's Berkman Center for Internet and Society at Harvard University. Zeynep, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
How do you interpret this latest beheading and the impact of all the social media cultivation that ISIS has done in its onslaught in the region this summer?
Right. So there are, I think, three dimensions to what ISIS is doing. And the most important one is that it's using its social media to intimidate local populations. I liken this a little bit like to a blowfish that likes to appear bigger. It's been steadily aiming these videos. I mean, we see the ones of Western journalists, but there has been a steady stream of local people from Syria and Iraq who were being killed, who were being murdered, executed in large numbers, and these being put online. For example, before their assault on Mosul, which was a turning point for them, they showed up at the house of a Sunni police chief on video. They blindfolded the poor man in his house. They beheaded him in his house. This is an hour-long gruesome video. They killed him. And it was clearly meant to intimidate, and they released this. And when they attacked Mosul and the areas around there, people were understandably very scared, and security forces, a lot of them crumbled or ran.
Because the web spreads the words, and if everybody knew about it in advance of their even arriving, sort of like Genghis Khan in the old days.
And it's also like a blowfish puffing up, right?
Yeah.
It makes them look much stronger than they are. Of course, it's unfortunately a self-fulfilling prophecy, because once you conquer Mosul, you are stronger. So the fact that they've been able to amplify their voice is very important for them. The second thing they're doing is recruiting. And as far as we can tell, they seem to be recruiting troubled young men with promises of, lots of guns and a cause, which is an age-old story. I mean, this is not a very unusual happening, guns and a cause. A lot of the young people they're recruiting seem to be new converts to Islam, and they have all the zealotry that comes with that. They're young, and they just think they found some great cause, and they get to play with machines and guns.
You could see religious zealotry being the motivator here, but with all this gruesome footage, you could also just see this recruiting psychopaths from all over the world. Here's a free fire zone. Come and you can do whatever.
Absolutely. So the thing is, there's research on militaries, and militaries have to train people to kill, right? It's not an easy thing. Militaries have to overcome our very natural and human aversion to pulling the trigger. It takes a lot of training to make that automatic. But research shows there's 1 to 2% of